Session today, and from the next week, we will start with the text from the text known as the Panchadashi. Uh, I have yet to dare to write the commentary on Panchadashi, but yes, I can speak on it. Uh, so today we will understand that how beautifully our masters have summarized what I talked for almost 6 to 7 hours in the last 6 sessions. That is what we need to understand. Then only we will be able to enter into the higher consciousness just by understanding. Just by understanding. No practice is required. So how all those steps, I talked about 360-degree understanding. Means it is a holistic understanding. Means that I understand each and every aspect. So knowledge is 360-degree. It means, no, I see you from the front. I don't see you from the back, for example. So the back is hidden, and that is ignorance. But in 360-degree understanding, we have a clarity of understanding. We live into that awareness. That is what the 360-degree understanding is. But then I discussed about it in 360-degree understanding that we have to understand the desire fulfillment and self-fulfillment. So when we start understanding that desire fulfillment, there are very deeper and subtler aspects that will be taken up by this master extremely in such a extraordinary fashion. So that, so I said desire fulfillment. Why I use the word, here, extraordinary fashion? Desire is dominated by the Rajoguna. And the Rajoguna means activity. Activity means that 3 kinds of activities. What are the 3 kinds of activities? First is the desire. I want to fulfill the desire. So I want to earn money. So dharma, arth, kam. So first I fulfill the desire, but why? To have a pleasure. So what masters did, they categorized into 3 groups of desire fulfillment. One is that, I want all kinds of pleasure, but in order to have a pleasure, I have to make an effort. So again, see, in both the cases, there is a desire fulfillment. And third is, no, I have to fulfill the desire through the ethical and the moral means. So that is known as the dharma. Dharma here does not mean literally translated into English as religion. No, it has nothing to do with the religion. Religion in a sense that we understand it. So the 3 components are of desire fulfillment. And the fourth one is the self-fulfillment. So once we have a clear understanding of all the 4, then we have a 360-degree understanding. You lose one pleasure, or you are craving for one pleasure. The Rajoguna is active in both the cases. I fulfill the desire. Okay, then I have to repeat the desire, so I have to make an effort. See? And now I fulfill the desire. Now that object I lost, so I have to make an effort. So Rajoguna is always active, and it binds me, it creates an ignorance, it creates anxiety, fear, duality, conflict. And that is what happened to the Ashok. He informed all of us. What happened? He informed that his car was stolen. Greta car is known as the good car there in India. His car is stolen. So he has to make an effort. He has to make a complaint to the police. You see, the Rajoguna is active. The Rajoguna is always active. So that is what, and then we asked a question: can awakening take place if I do not balance these four desires? Yes, yes, it is possible. That is why those people, those seekers who are totally aloof from the world outside, like Swami Vivekananda at the age of 11 and 12, nothing attracted, no pleasure attracted him. And he was totally absorbed into the meditation. So he need not to balance all the three. But we are living a personal, professional, social life. We have to strike a harmony. So that is why I brought this concept. I have to strike a harmony in all these desires, so that the Rajoguna is minimized. Rajoguna is not causing any anxiety, duality, and a conflict. And even if the challenges comes, I will be able to meet these challenges. That is what we have understood in the 5 or 6 sessions. Master, another master. I brought the teaching of another master who summarized all these aspects only in 5 steps that we need to remember. From there, we can move ahead to understand that awakening can take place just by the knowledge, but just by the understanding. So that is what I'm going to bring it. So I'm revising it. Then we have to understand also, so that our doubt should be clear. What doubt? No, animals are also living beings, so can they reach to that awakening state? No. Animal mind is pre-programmed. They don't have an intellect. They don't have a free will. They cannot think. They cannot objectify what is the object. I can objectify the body. Tiger cannot objectify the body. There is no I-ness there. So this is what we have understood. So then when we understand this, so ultimately conclusion comes, I have to understand who I am, what is the world, and what is the supreme existence, or you can say roughly the God, for the sake of understanding. The essence, what is the essence of an individual? What is the essence of the world outside? What is the essence of the supreme existence? If the essence is the same in all the three, then we all are one. Are you getting me? They're going supra-intellectual exercise. One is intellectual. Intellectual is logical, cause and effect. No, we are going to the supra-intellectual understanding. That is how Aurobindo used the word. So the essence of an individual and the supreme existence, so-called the God, when we say God is all-pervading, it means there is no ignorance at all. But the consciousness is there. I am consciousness. I am conscious, but I have many layers of the ignorance. What is the essence? Consciousness. And if the essence is the same, then I have to understand whether we are essentially the essence the same. That is one symbolism I picked up, so remember this. Remember and keep in your mind so that we can go ahead. So then what happens? Then I discussed about the 9 steps of progress. So you are a seeker. We started with Mangalacharan. We started with Mangalacharan. creating an auspicious, not creating an auspiciousness. I'm using the language. Auspiciousness is already there. Sarve bhavantu sukhina, sarve santu niramaya. At least the mind that is engaged in illusion, ignorance, duality, and a conflict should be redirected to start the journey. Yeah? That is what we do. Oh, no, we have to drive. We have to have a long drive. Oh, let us check everything. Gas is there, pressure is all right. Mind has to be redirected. That is what the Mangalacharan we have understood. The second step we have understood. Do you remember? Anubandha Chatushtaya, the 4 connections. So my mind should only move into that 4 connections. Am I a qualified seeker? What is the goal of life? Is awakening. Now, after desire fulfillment, I have understood. I have balanced it. Now the goal is self-discovery. Many people say, I want to know the real self. They are not prepared. They are not ready. They do not understand the basics. And that is why I told you this girl from Canada, and she left it. She is not even ready to join on the Mondays and Thursdays session. Why? That preparation is not there. But I have simply read the text. Reading the text does not make any change, does not help you to understand. Why? The Mangalacharan, the practice of Mangalacharan is hidden there. Like in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Mangalacharan is not there. Yes, there. In the very first sutra. What it says, Ath Yoga Anushashanam. The word Ath represents the Mangalacharan. And also the 4 connections. So, I have to recheck. Forget about what is written in the text. I have to check, am I a seeker? Am I a seeker? So how do I check? I have already given you a 360-degree understanding. See? We have to keep in mind. Then only we can move ahead. Otherwise we say, yes, I'm awakened. I'm awakened to stress. I'm awakened to suffering. I'm awakened so that I start blaming others. So then that awakening will take place. Come back. So you see the 9 steps. The Mangalacharan is the first, the Anubandha Chatushtaya, the 4 connections where I have to remind myself, am I a seeker? I wake up in the morning. Now, non-verbally, you remember, oh, I'm a seeker, yes. So the Mangalacharan begins with it, yeah. I have to find out the real self. Okay. And the subject matter is the real self, and the result is awakening and end of suffering. We never forget. End of all kinds of suffering. And awakening to that all-pervading, one, pure, permanent happiness entity in us. But then again, I have to go for a specialized preparation to become a seeker. And from there, we understood the sadhan chatushtaya, the 4 practices. One is the discernment. I discussed it briefly. Second is the dispassion. Now the third is very important. You intellectually understand discernment and dispassion. So what happens to your mind? Your mind awakens to the 6 treasures. It awakens to the 6 treasures. It's a natural result. One of them is the calmness. Second is the withdrawal of the mind. So now your eyes looks at something beautiful. So it appreciates the beauty, but there is no projection. Projection is not there. You're constantly living into the world. So that prevention of the projection keeps your mind calm. But here is another aspect. Master says my mind should be 100% available to the journey of the self-discovery. That is another meaning of the calmness. Then withdrawal of the sense organs. You can endure oparama, beyond the enjoyment, instantly. You eat the food that you like. Your mind enjoys, but you have a clarity of perception that this pleasure, enjoyment is not present in anything in the world. Outside, at the outer level, you keep on doing it. But internally, internal awareness, oh, it is coming from here. So those 6 treasures. Then another part that I have dealt is little bit, karma yoga. The 4th practice is the karma yoga. Karma, here karma means action. Action, I think you all explained it beautifully in the last couple of the sessions, both on Mondays and Thursdays, and that is why I appreciate your understanding that you all are seekers. You said the consumership and the contributors. So if the consumership is there as an intention, that we need to get rid of. That is what the karma yoga is. I have to contribute. I have to become a contributor. So it means that I have to get rid of slowly in daily life. I have to get rid of that I-ness, that ego-ness. That is the 4th step. Then the 5th one. So we have to emotionally, we have to redirect our emotional to the supreme existence. And the 6th one, then I become the highest level of a seeker. What do you mean by the highest level of a seeker? You listen and learn from a teacher, and simultaneously you move into that level of awareness. So the practice is not required. Practice is not required. Sam, you think practice is not required for you? Good. Very good. Sam says no. No practice is required. So then what happens? Then I told you the next step is when we go, we start recognizing the different states of the consciousness with reference to the different stages of meditation. So the master says, that is the highest state of meditation. You are already there, and just see and check. That is what we have. But what we have done, you should remember that doubt regarding the validity of the teaching has to be removed. Doubt regarding the object, the real self is to be realized, has to be removed by understanding, by communication, by conversation, by these principles. Projection has to be removed, and the veiling has to. These are the 4 fundamental layers of the ignorance. So I have already summarized what all the 5, 6 sessions. Now, how the master summarized it. Master says there are 5 steps. Now he summarized all them into the 5 steps. So people study these 5 steps and they do not have the basics. And then they are simply wandering. Then they have a lot of problems and challenges. So what are those 5 steps? So another master says that all those aspects that we have understood, we are continuously doing the karma yoga, we are continuously doing the practices in our life, and then we become the highest level of a seeker, and that highest level of a seeker needs only the 5 steps. The first step again is the qualified seeker. So the moment you have an idea, understanding of the qualified seeker, you remember a lot of stuff from what we have discussed. Second is Guru Upadeshana. It is known as Guru Upadeshana. That you have to approach, the seeker approaches the teacher with the humility, recognizing the need of a guidance. Do I recognize the need of a guidance? Yes, I will not miss any session. I'm just giving you. No. If you are urgent, it's some urgent issues as there, obviously. We have to do a Guru Upadeshana, approaching the teacher with humility. I'm just simplifying it, and then we will discuss in detail. And the third is Upadeshana. Now the teaching begins. That teaching is known as the Shravanam, listening and learning with an apt attention and awareness. Because you already have a reference point, because of basic understanding, so that now the listening and learning is direct. Listening and learning from a teacher. The fourth aspect is known as the sadhana. Sadhana means contemplation and meditation. Directly contemplation and meditation. How many times we contemplate in our daily life on different issues. Ashok, you are with me? Yeah, good. So, sadhana. Sadhana means mananam, and contemplation and reflection after listening and learning is a big challenge. Why? When you are listening to me, you maintain your awareness and alertness, and when you listen the same talk by yourself, the mind with the ignorance tries to take you away. We have to build that level of, I have to contemplate and reflect and meditate. And the fifth is the result, the fruit of the journey. Fruit of the journey is awakening, realization and transformation. What I said, the first is adhikari. Adhikari is known as their qualified seekers. So you remember a lot of stuff. From what is that 360-degree understanding? I have left this part. I have to understand this part also. Oh, I have to understand the pleasure is not outside, pleasure is inside. So that level of awareness should be there. In adhikari, I have to ask every day. My master says you can maintain the humility. You, once a seeker, you always remain a seeker. Why? Think of it. Once a seeker, always remain a seeker. Outside, I may be for 1 hour, I may be a teacher, but once a seeker, always a seeker. Why? Every time you have a different expression, that knowledge expands. That is what perhaps Socrates said. Those who says I know it, they don't know it. Those who says I don't know it, they know it. So the first step we say adhikari. The way a scientist reasons why an apple falls on the ground, not fly in the sky. I have to ask why the hell I am suffering, even slight suffering. I have to challenge it. If you leave it unconsciously, it will build lot of impression, and the same impression will be repeated in your life, and your life will have a lot of challenges. So the second step is, then once I understand it clearly, then the mind says from where I should get the guidance or teaching. So our master says Eastern wisdom. But I have to move with the humility, because mind says I tried many a times to secure permanent peace and happiness, so I don't know. I don't know. I want to know these principles. That is another way to say that is what the humility is. Guru Upadeshana. So I have to understand. That girl from Canada, she has a how to recognize the teacher. I said, first you sure yourself how to become a seeker. The seeker recognizes the teacher. How can I find the Guru? So you want to be sure for everything, and that is your consumership. That is, you want to consume the teacher. It is not possible. You don't want to move from your consumership even an inch. Third step is Upadesh, Shravanam, listening and learning. Listening and learning with attention and with understanding, based again on all those 5 and 6 lessons that we have covered. The fourth one is the sadhana, the manan, and contemplation and reflection. And when you are contemplating and reflecting, here the master says what happens. Every time even if you contemplate on Mangalacharan, it will take your mind deeper and your mind will be ready to meditate. So you need not to worry about it, which posture you want to sit, whether you have to do a headstand to realize. No. You are contemplating, and ultimately what happens, your mind says, oh, leave this position of the body. My mind is not at all disturbed. I told you, you might remember 2 years ago, and who attended a couple of our sessions, is from a very senior officer in the Johnson & Johnson, New Jersey. So he said, don't teach me any asanas, don't teach me any breathing, don't teach me, I want to know the meditation. But he was not prepared, but he had that intensity. So he used to sit with the legs stretched out, taking the support of the wall. And after 6 months, he started sitting cross-legged. That is the power of the mind. You did not do any physical practice. So that is what the sadhana, that is the power of contemplation and the meditation. And the fifth one is the result. Fifth one, result. Result, can you remember that we undergo the different stages of meditation? We recognize, oh, this is what. So one thing is left. Oh, let me continue the journey. So now you are fairly independent and you continue the journey. And you follow the teaching as per the. So that every verse by this master takes you to the state of meditation that we are going to cover possibly from the next week. So if I translate these 5 steps into a more in a logical fashion, or more perhaps if I say in a modern way. So when I'm a seeker, I question the nature of the reality and my place in that reality. I have to question. All what you have learned and understood in the last 6 sessions is summarized in this way, in a very purely in a logical fashion. I'm questioning the nature of the reality. Is pleasure a reality or is suffering a reality? You see? So from there the concept of 4 goals in life. Out of the 3 is the desire fulfillment, and the 4th is understand. Understand it clearly. That is how it works. So we have to cultivate a genuine curiosity and readiness to explore the deeper aspects of the existence. That makes me a seeker. 1 hour of listening, 8 hours of contemplation, my master used to say. That is why I spent 26 years with the master. No, I have contemplated, reflected, mind. No, I have to contemplate it again. Let me see what comes out. That is the first step. I'm explaining it again how the 5-step works. You may begin question the meaning of the life and seeks answers beyond the material pursuit. Did I make it clear? I covered all the 360-degree understanding. I am seeking an answer beyond the material pursuit. It does not mean that I leave everything what is at the material level. Body is also a matter. Can you leave the body? No. Body is a temple. Body is a means by which I can express my consciousness through the mind. So we have to understand, we should not have any doubt. Some people, they start torturing the body. That is not sadhana, that is not practice. So I have to ignite a spark of curiosity and questioning the nature of reality. That is the first step. I'm explaining now I'll remind you of the 5 steps again and again, so that if you lack any understanding, you can go to those 6 sessions and you can listen to it again and again. And the second is that I should understand what it means by mentors or the guru's guidance. I should understand it clearly. There should be an understanding. Now, it should not be like, it's Guruji Namaste, Sarji Namaste. Yes, it should be. No, it shows the physical humility, but mind is scattered anywhere. So I did it for 5-6 years. I used to fall flat at the feet of my master. So after 5 years, one day he said, "Come here. How long you are going to do this physically? Did you change something inside you also?" It was a big blow to me. Why I love my master. All masters are equal. They have a different approach. So I had the tears in my eyes. I said, no, I did not change enough. So you see, the mentor's guidance. 5 years I used to touch physically his feet. And he called me, he said, "How long you are going to do this? Stop this nonsense." He used the word nonsense. Did you change inside? So it means, am I evolving? Am I changing my nature? Do I really understand it? So that is the second step, the mentor's guidance, finding wisdom in the company of these teachers who have embraced the wisdom and who can really express. There are many masters who cannot express. They don't want to express. I would rather say they are still living in the Himalayas. They don't want to come out. Many people serve them just two meals, 3 meals. That's all. They just want to live into that state of meditation all the time, barring minimum physical activity. The third step is the teaching unveiled. So now you see that in the first 2 steps, responsibility of a seeker, based on what we have understood. So the people approach there, they are not prepared. So they will leave you. So teacher has to do nothing, leave you. One guy on the LinkedIn says that you will get 10 appointments every week. You don't know what I am doing. How can I get 10 appointments per week? I may leave someone. And he was insisting. Now let's have a chat. I don't need that. This journey is totally, so I'm trying to strike a balance between that traditional wisdom and modern life. So the third one is the teaching unveiled. Absorbing the essence of this wisdom, absorbing the knowledge by listening. Can I use the word listening with a pure and focused mind? Because of the first two steps. I will answer you that why we have to listen with a pure and impure mind. Not now. Think of it. Contemplate. I will answer that. Why the scientific research and discoveries are made with an impure mind. They also talk of you should have unbiased. Emotional part should not be there. But they talk very little. Why we talk so deeply. Think of it. You'll understand it clearly. And then you will understand that what it means by understanding with an apt listening and attention, the third step. So once you do the, once you listen and learn, then I have to return. I have to return. Now Jerry knows one who is studying Gita from me. So he had, I gave him a lesson and sent him. So what he did, he started listening in the around 10 p.m. and he repeated that listening 5 times. It means 5 hours. And he had a revelation. Intellect is working. It is purifying the mind. He had such a great revelation. So I said, I'm not amazed. I'm not surprised. You have that. It is that. So in those periods, the seeker need a confirmation from a teacher. You cannot get a confirmation from your honey or anyone. No, teacher should confirm with the principle so that the doubt is not there. So that is what the fourth step brings. Next time I will read what he has sent an email. No, I feel I had that deeper insight. I am totally away from the body. And on the other hand, I have so many problems. My company is going for bankruptcy and I'm totally calm and relaxed. I'm facing these challenges. Not to tell you, that was his words. That is the power of the fourth step. That is known as the sadhana, the practice. Then what is your practice? You're contemplating and reflecting. And in that contemplation and reflections, along these lines of the principles, your mind is absorbed deeper within. So in my life, in life of others, many miracles happen, magic happens. This guy, he just moved away from it to move to a different house. He has a lot of challenges. Should I ask the fees? I send the bill, but I don't ask for it. He said, I will do it. I believe. And the fifth step, I told you the transformation unfolds. Now you are undergoing a transformation just by understanding. But in the 6 lessons, we are preparing ourselves. And during the preparation, we are doing a lot of practices in order to become a seeker, so that my mind is prepared to have a deeper insight, like this guy. I will tell you another, with the same guy, you'll be surprised. And that it happens. His wife also attends us separately sessions. She met with an accident. This is what happens, when you have problems all around, then you move into the low level of ignorance. You don't perceive the problems correctly, dispassionately, and then she met with an accident. So she said, I'm not going to attend the session. And the next minute, she said, it is better to attend your session than to go to a doctor. I'll go to the doctor later. So when she sent me a text, I cannot attend, so I met with an accident, and so I'm going to the doctor. But within minutes, is the man who is a seeker did deliberately influence her? No, that influence takes place. And I started laughing when we were in a session. I said, how come? I said, you never understood this, but something happened inside you. She said, yes. I thought it better to minimize my suffering before I go to doctor to get my painkillers. It is the clarity. Where is that clarity? In the first two steps. And then the real journey. No, real journey has already started. Then the journey from this text, we will pick up each and every verse and we will understand. And let us see, we will reach to that state of awakening. Close your eyes. We will again enter into a non-practice. Non-practice, I have picked up, my friends. I told you I have picked up one verse from another text. That is also a beautiful text, which was edited by Brandy. So, Yadi deham prathakratya chiti vishramyatisthasi. If I separate the body, mind rests within. You see the cryptic language? What happens? I will be in peace and happiness here and now, and if I continue, I will be awakened. Adhunaiva sukhi shantah bandha mukto bhavishyasi. That is the simple verse. 4 liners. Four parts of this. So if I separate the body is already separate. But why I don't feel it? Because of ignorance. Because of identification. Because of deep sense of attachment that I feel that I'm the body. As if I'm the car, I'm the house, I'm the clothes, I'm the pen. My body is not me. So what happens, so I bring the so-called, it is not the step, but still I bring it. Look at the neck joint, physical. Who experiences, who has all the experiences in all of us? It is the mind. So I say, bring the mind to the neck joint. Let us experience. So I have a sensation. Sensation, mental. Comfort, mental. And then I say steadiness in the body. Is steadiness the nature of the mind? Answer is no. Mind cannot stand still. But from where the steadiness comes? Can I recognize the steadiness in the body, or do I recognize the steadiness of the body? Making so simple. So your mind is ready and prepared. Yes. Moving the mind on the shoulder joints. Same thing. You're not making shoulders. No, what you're doing, you're bringing the mind there. Mind is an instrument of all the experiences. So you say sensation, yes, it is an experience of the mind. Comfort, yes, it is an experience of the mind. And then I say the steadiness in the body. And there you stay. Steadiness in the body. Space in the body and outside the body. Space outside the body, limited by the walls, is known as my room. That steadiness is limited by the boundary of the body. But the steadiness is all pervading. So what happens? We may experience that I'm separate from the body. Simple, I am not the body. I am not Dennis, I am not Vaibhav, I am not David. This is what, so it's very easy to separate. Why? Because I see the physical separation. Here it's a question of mind. Intellectually, I cannot separate my body physically. It has to be done in the mind. Recognition, cognition is required. Looking at the entire body from the top of the head to the reference point has to be some object to move to the subjective reality. So I made a reference point as the body. The entire body, mind looking at the body means experiencing the boundary, the sensation in the body, maybe the calmness, maybe the comfort, but we move deeper and we check that it is a steadiness in the body. It is a steadiness in the body. Yes, it is a steadiness in the body. Now see, your mind picks up another thought or experience or a sensation, and it loses awareness. So I have to bring my awareness back. That steadiness in the body is independent, and that makes me aware that I'm not the body. I am not the body. Yadi deham prathak. Look at the master with all humility. He writes, if you separate yadi deham prathak, it is in third person. If the body is separated, means it is already separate. So I have to separate what it means. I'm attached to the body. So attachment is the problem. Body is not the problem. Ignorance is the problem. Body is not the problem. So those people, that's why out of the joke I say that those people who do the headstand, they will realize. That is not what the yoga teaches. Yoga says that attachment, identification with the body, or ignorance that I am the body, should be dropped. So when it is dropped, that is the meaning. If the body is separate, yes. Yadi deham prathak Chiti Vishramya Tishtasi, taking the second part. Chiti, mind, Vishram, rest. So mind is resting within. I'm translating that way to make you understand. The mind is resting within. So mind runs in the world only because of attachment and projection. It is projecting the pleasure outside. So what should I do? Do nothing. Recognize when the mind is running outside, have a laugh inside, and tell the mind why you are running where the pleasure is not. I'm taking you to another step. Just say to the mind, let any thought come, any thought, any feeling, let it come and go. That is lower part. Being carefree is a lower, which is lower, so that's why it's a practice. But now we are reflecting on it. Oh, the mind, you're running. How you're running, how I recognize you? You have a thought. Thought is equal to, do you remember what I said before? Thought is equal to object plus, just take two only. There are four parts. The thought is equal to object plus consciousness. That object may be your stress, that object may be your car, that object may be your clothes, that object may be your body, anything. So I have to maintain my awareness and attention on that. Thought is equal to object plus consciousness, thought minus object is pure consciousness. So all the thoughts that are moving on the surface of the mind has an object, and that's why it is jumping around, yes. And the consciousness continues without change. And because consciousness is of the nature of peace and happiness, so Master says, third part of the verse, Adhunaiva Sukhi Shanta. You are in peace and happiness here and now. Why here and now? Because now the veil of ignorance has gone. Attachment has gone. Now that consciousness is reflecting in the mind in the state of purity. That is why I experience peace and joy. So I linked the second part of the verse to the third. Chiti Vishramya Tishtasi. That is how we will be understanding all the verses in the following sessions. Chiti Vishramya Tishtasi. Mind is allowed to rest within. Consciousness reflecting fully into the transparent mind because of the absence of attachment, because of because of absence of ignorance. No, but why you brought ignorance? Ignorance is seeking and projecting pleasure outside in an object. Oh, that created the thought, and these thoughts are being repeated like the ripples, and this ripples agitate the mind into anxiety, and that starts searching the peace and happiness outside, and I lost touch. Niyadi deham prathakratya varies separate. It is already separate. The Master beautifully writes, if. So if says means doubt. So the Master, all the Masters define doubt. When the peace is destroyed, that is the meaning of doubt. Look at it. When the peace is high, peace hides because of attachment and ignorance, that is doubt. In Sanskrit, I will talk about it later, that doubt in Sanskrit is known as shanka, and that is the meaning. Peace is crushed. Some. So when it is crushed, when I don't see, I am not the body. When that peace is destroyed, when the mind is searching peace and happiness outside, it is not resting within. And then he, it's a cryptic language, so he left a lot of stuff in between. So when the mind is resting within, obviously attachment is gone, ignorance is gone, and so he directly says, Adhunaiv Sukhi Shantah. Adhunaiv means here and now. Sukhi Shantah. Happiness and peace is here and now. And what? Bandhamukto bhavishyasi. So later in the fourth part he says, Bandhamukto, you get free from the bondage. Bandhamukto bhavishyasi, you will become free from the bondage. And that is the highest goal. What we have been learning in thousands of hours, he has summarized in one verse. The rare masters have done this. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your awareness on the right hand, your awareness on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, Dennis?
Fine, thank you. And thank you for the lesson. I was listening, contemplating, asking my mind whether it still believes that an object behind the thought has any ground, is real, or is it false? And I was looking for those objects behind the thoughts in my mind that the mind is still attached to and believes that it is the reality and believes that they are real. So that was what I was doing.
Yes, yes, as long as they are real, a sense of identification is there. And identification is what we call as an attachment. But understand this attachment lives in the thought, doesn't live anywhere. Object plus consciousness. So, but contemplating makes you at ease. And gradually we leave it. Body is also an object. Beautiful. Yes, continue contemplation. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you. Since Thursday's lesson, I've been focusing on my I-ness and realizing the impacts that that has on my life. And today, it's all about impressions. And so when you mentioned your student that after I can't remember 4 months or 6 months or whatever it was, finally crossing their legs, I realized to myself I had this impression in my mind that I couldn't cross my legs. So I crossed my legs, and I'm sitting here now with my legs crossed for the longest I can ever remember having my legs crossed. And it was interesting that I had this impairment to doing something because it was an impression. And so for me, that was kind of an interesting realization. So thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, yes. And that is how what happens. Our past impressions are placed in front of these principles in the process of contemplation, and that is where the mind is purified. And the mind undergoes a change. So, as a higher level of a seeker, we should understand the role of contemplation is not only to be absorbed into the meditation, but it has also a big role to play in our personal, professional, social life. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. Similar, I think, to Dennis, I was really looking at how the mind perceives the objects and the people in life, and they are there. And as long as I perceive them as the same as me, then there isn't any issue. We are the relationships and the attachments, I guess, are stronger to those family members and and maybe our peers that we work with, and like what I'm doing with you with the workshop. I'm invested in it, but not for me,
Yeah.
but to share what I'm passionate about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether it works out one way or another, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
So I guess it is really important to separate it, but also we see it clearly.
Yeah. 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 It's a very good way to put at it. You see that. Yes. Yes. That was the thought in my head. So I say that I still see the objects are real. Remind yourself what is real and the false. I still see the mirage water is real. So how do I understand that it is not real? To all of you, and especially to the Dennis and Jai. So yes, this world appears real, but the blue sky appears real. The earring, necklace appears real. They all are made up of the gold. Gold is the essence. So essence is the real. What appears real is not the real. But what happens because of the four doubts? I'm reminding you, I will remind you again and again. Do you remember the four problems? Validity of the knowledge. That is where the mind is stuck. But we are a seeker, and when we progress, it happens. It takes place. Brandy.
Morning. I was contemplating and reflecting during the meditation about how sort of symbolic and maybe auspicious Ashok's car getting stolen was, in relationship to your lesson today. Just in the sense that, like, as things happen outside of us, we have to do what needs to be done without attachment, with boundary, to have that balanced living. And it's one of these Saturday things that's so simple to like regurgitate and sometimes so hard to apply. But I was like, what is this thing about the car? And I'm sorry about your car, Ashok, but like it's everything, right? We get and then we get all worked up. I get all worked up. So thank you. It was valuable for everything going on with me right now.
Yes, you have to live in peace because you are attending this session. So you see that car is stolen. It doesn't mean that he should not go to the police. He should not complain. He should not pursue it. Yes, I should pursue everything. But is it possible to pursue or make an effort without attachment? Then you will remain calm. If you make an effort with attachment and identification, then you may blast on the cops. And cops will say, hell with you, do whatever. Now I have a lot of things to do. Not only your car is stolen, but 50 cars are stolen. So you see the role of this, role of the Eastern wisdom in your personal, professional, social life is much greater than we imagine. How are you, Sam? We have a workshop today. Are you joining?
What time?
At 12:30.
Perhaps. I'm planning on going. I have a wedding today.
Oh, very good. Wedding is more important. What is your experience?
The practice was great today. Quiet, peaceful, and expansive.
Very good. Good.
Feeling good.
Very good. It's your wedding, I hope so.
Yeah, exactly.
It's your wedding?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, very good. How are you?
Thank you, sir. Sir, I'm good. One thing I realized that you said in the time practice also that my attachment or my association with something that breaks that silence which is already there in my mind. The calmness is already there, but it gets break when there is some attachment and association. But that is the last time also you said that that is also required. Then only we can learn something.
Yes.
That movement of the mind is required. That makes us to learn something, and we can understand that way.
Yes.
So this thing happening with me a lot of times that when I'm contemplating, after 30-40 thoughts, I totally distract myself and goes into the habitual mode which is happening in the mind.
And the world is real now.
Yes.
And the world becomes real. And then again, we because the world is real, so I have an anxiety, I have a duality, I have a concern, I have an attachment. This is what happens to the mind living in ignorance. So the entire journey of this Eastern wisdom says, remove the ignorance. You cannot remove the ignorance by any practice. But yes, in the beginning, we have to prepare ourselves to become a seeker, to enter into this practice. Hari Ashok.
Sir, I am good. Comment, please.
It's good. Good.
Thank you.
Who knows that, you have been attending this session, at least you have reached to a state of endurance, to have a calmness, and now your car is stolen, so you are able to maintain that peace. So by peace, you try, you make your best effort. Let us see what happens. How are you, Terry? I don't see you, Terry. Maybe that is all for today. We will meet again in our